Hello, everybody. How are you? I always love when I stutter right at the beginning of the video. I always wonder if I should just stop and start over, but hey, I just did that and that's fine. We're just going to power through it and see what we get out of this video. So today's video is going to be a grumpy video from a ranting, raving old man standing in the back of a truck. Very different from all my other videos, isn't it? yeah, not the same theme going on around here at all, is there? So today I'm here to crush the hopes and dreams of aspiring young people that want to become truckers in the future and tell you why this is an absolutely terrible career choice. That's right, I might be a little bit grumpy today, just might be, but I just wanted to sort of clear up a few things before we go into the whole part of the video. You'll notice I'm not wearing my trekker hat. I didn't quit my job. I just realized I was kind of maybe being a little bit of a shill for a trucking company. I'm like, I don't really need to rep their gear in all my videos now, do I? I should probably knock that off. Honestly, what went through my head when they gave me the hat was, hey, new hat. Then I watched a few videos. I'm like, this is kind of cheesy now, isn't it? So we brought the old steering wheel holder back, and we'll just keep running with that. I think we don't need to represent a company in every video. That's pretty weird. What was I talking about though? Oh, a couple things I wanted to get clear. I don't even know why I started talking about my hat. That was weird. Oh yeah, that's kind of why I brought it up. This isn't about me. This video isn't about me, all right? A lot of people get confused and go, Josh, if you're so damn unhappy with everything, quit your job. Fuck you, quit your job. I don't know why you're telling me this. I'm gonna talk about why this industry's a shit show in general and not something I would recommend to anybody getting into, with a few exceptions. We need to make a few exceptions. A lot of times when I do these kind of videos too, somebody will think that this video is directly about them in particular, and that sounds like something a well-adjusted adult would do, right? They would go to the internet, find a video on YouTube from a guy that's never met them before and be like, why is he fucking saying this video about me? There are some people that this works for, that trucking is actually a good decision, all right? There's ways to use your CDL for other things besides being a fucking over-the-road trucker, besides being a dipshit like me, where you can make a lot of money, things like that. We are focusing on over-the-road trucking and why that is overall a pretty horrible career decision for a lot of people, with the exception of, if you're like a young single person, no bills, no kids, no nothing, if you got in a truck with just a cell phone bill, maybe a few other minor bills here and there, it's kind of a good idea. You know, you got a free place to live, right? You don't got to pay rent to be in here, no utilities, no nothing. And if you're just stacking that money for maybe other things that you want to do in the future, this is actually a really, really fucking good career choice. But we're going to talk about all the reasons that it sucks today and why it's not a good career choice. Before I get into that, I have a few people to thank for super thanks on the last video. I appreciate you guys' support to the channel so much. I really do. It's been a rough time on YouTube over almost the last month, maybe even longer than that. We've got the election going on, we've got hurricanes going on, and you can't get a goddamn view on this platform right now. So appreciate you guys for all your support. We're kind of just working through that struggle, which I'm sure a lot of YouTubers are dealing with right now. And that's how it goes. So we got Private Pile with $5. Thank you, Private Pile. I appreciate you, man. We've got Imelda, longtime viewer, been around through the span of 2 channels now with $5. Thank you so much, Imelda, for the support. I guess she really liked that last video where I was busting the balls of tourists hanging out in the truck stops, and it was worth $5 to her. Appreciate you, Imelda. And we've got Florida Jake, the man himself, Florida Jake, who is obsessed with my Jason Bateman hatred, more obsessed with my Jason Bateman hatred than I am, because I've kind of let it go. But I'm glad you enjoyed that joke from a long time ago, Florida Jake, with $50 on the last video. And Florida Jake, $50, holy shit, yeah, 50. Florida Jake, I don't know if you're actually in Florida, but fucking be careful down there today if you are. I don't know if that's where you're from. Everybody in Florida, even the crazies, because there are crazies in Florida, believe it or not. I know I'm saying some crazy shit right now. Sounds like it's gonna be real bad down there, if it hasn't gotten bad already. By the time this video comes out, I think it's gonna be real ugly down there. So please be safe. Hopefully you got out. Hopefully if you didn't make it out, you're safe down there. It sounds real fucking bad. So, and with all that said, I just want to say I appreciate everyone that supports my little channel. I'm getting through this. We're getting to the point, all right? I just like to take a minute and tell everybody thank you. because this YouTube shit is a lot harder than a lot of people think it is. So thank you so much to everyone that comments and subscribes. Not everyone that comments. Some of you are assholes. And subscribes and likes the videos and everything you do. We need less than 300 subscribers to get to 10,000 subscribers. So let's move on. Let's get in the video because that was a little bit long-winded. So trucking, over-the-road trucking as a career is about the dumbest fucking decision I think you could ever make. Now, like I said earlier, people are going to tell me I need to quit my job then and all that stuff. I work in this industry. I've worked in this industry for 10 years and I am turning into that old man, my friends. That old man, you're going to hear me in the fucking Lion That Loves one day, turn around to the guy behind me going, this industry's really gone to hell. It used to be. That's the old man that I'm fucking turning into, my friends, because I got to tell you something. This industry has gone to hell. And you know what? It's my own damn fault for thinking like that, because here's where I fucking went wrong, my friends. Here's where I went wrong with this industry. I learned too much about it. Now, that's not saying I'm the world's smartest trucker. We know I am, but that's not the fucking point. I know everything. I've got this industry all figured out. What I'm saying is there was a time in my career where I knew jack shit about the trucking industry. The majority of my career, if I'm being honest with you, I was a company driver that just fucking went and picked up the load and delivered the load, and they better get me my goddamn miles or I'm gonna quit and go work somewhere else, right? That's exactly what I did. Then I decided I'm gonna jump into the owner-operator side. Yeah, I'm gonna jump into the lease operator side too. We're gonna do a little bit of both. I'm gonna talk to brokers. I'm gonna book my own loads. I'm gonna fucking do all this. And when I got deeper and deeper into this trucking industry, I found out the whole thing's a fucking joke. Every goddamn bit of trucking is just a fucking joke. It's full of fucking slimy, greasy con men that are doing everything they can in their power to make sure they get to keep the majority of the money, while the guy, us, that goes out and does the actual work, it gets as small of a piece of the pie as fucking possible. And that the proof is in the pudding, baby. Look around at this trucking industry now. I know, I can't believe I'm saying this shit either, guys. This is how fucking old and grumpy and resentful that I'm getting, that I say, now look at what this industry's turned into. But look at all the people that have been washed out of this fucking industry. They lost everything, couldn't afford to keep their trucks. It's fucking catastrophic, right? There are people that just lost their asses this last time that the rates dropped and fuel prices went through the roof and you couldn't get a fucking truck repaired for less than $10,000, and people just went the fuck under. Just a whole like flip of the entire fucking industry. While, you know, you had brokers recording record profits. Well, that's fucking weird now, isn't it? How are you recording record profits when there's no money in this industry? Let me think real hard about this for just a fucking second. Oh, they're keeping the money, huh? I'll be damned. That's fucking sucks, doesn't it? That's really not a lot of fun. And it's just not, I would like to say it's just not getting any better. Rates are fucking whatever. Fuel prices have dropped pretty substantially, so we can almost fucking afford to have food every day, and that's pretty cool now, isn't it? That's, hell yeah. Holy shit. But, you know, I look around and people talk about, I think the wrong things, if I'm being honest. People blame the wrong things in this industry. Who do a lot of the old truckers blame when it comes to the current state of the shithole industry that we fucking work in? They go, it's the new drivers. The new drivers fucked up at this industry. Really? I think there's a deeper thing happening here. Yeah, a lot of the young drivers fucking suck. I'm not trying to be a dick, but we got some fucking knucklehead shit going on out here. Parking on Fuel Island to take a fucking shower. Somebody confronts you on a Facebook video about it and says, hey, you're blocking all these other drivers from doing their job. The guy turns around and says, man, fuck those other drivers. Yeah, that's the fucking how we think about our fellow drivers in this fucking industry now. And that's just to name a number, one thing, right? I'm not gonna fucking talk about men's footwear. There's a real big obsession in trucking about what kind of shoes other men wear, and I don't fucking know why. I don't give a shit what kind of shoes you wear. That's your own fucking business. I don't know why that's a thing, but just inconsiderate. Look, I'm not trying to, there's a deeper meaning to what I'm saying. I'm not going to blame the young driver by the time I'm done with this. Listen, I don't think it's a young driver problem. I don't think it's a new driver problem, but just fucking inconsiderate. Don't give a fuck about other drivers out there. Fucking just, I mean, my head just exploded. Just the stupid shit you see out here. This is not the fault of the driver. This is the fault of the fucking industry. If this was an industry that was worth a fuck, that was providing for families, that was taking care of people, and we saw some sort of optimism in this fucking shithole industry, then it would attract good people. That's all there is to it. It would attract good fucking people. We would have quality truck drivers because it would be worth their while to get in a truck and go do the fucking job. And the fact of the matter is, when you start scraping the bottom of the barrel, you get what you fucking deserve. You get the shithole drivers, or shithole drivers. That's a little bit kind of a weird thing to have come out of your mouth. I'm not sure how I feel about that, you know. But I don't blame the drivers. You don't go into a fucking Waffle House expecting good service, right? You're more likely to be in a fist fight in Waffle House with the waitress while you're there than you are to get good fucking service. And that's just the way that shit works. Waffle House gave up on giving a fuck a long time ago. They don't give a shit about what goes on in a Waffle House. And you gotta respect that to a point. Like, hey, we just don't give a fuck. It's the Royal Rumble when you walk into a Waffle House. Kind of exciting, kind of interesting, if I'm being honest with you. But when we adopt that same mindset in the trucking industry and put everybody into a truck that just don't give a fuck, because we don't want to pay people to give a fuck, we don't want to look for quality fucking employees, now we've got kind of a situation out there on the fucking road, don't we? Yeah. It's not the young or new driver's fault. It's the industry's fault. You get what you pay for, and that's just the way this fucking works, right? Let me try to gather my thoughts, because I had more to say to this. Oh, trucking. So I've been doing this for 10 years. Here's how I started, right? I was sitting in my little cubicle in the IT field watching YouTube truckers. This is why this video is kind of important, I think. I was watching YouTube truckers, and I thought it was so fucking cool. These guys are out there in their big rigs, right? And they're traveling all over the country, and they ain't even scared, because I was terrified to be away from home when I, first got this idea. They're not even scared. These guys are fucking badasses. They're out there just getting the shit done. And that's how I finally decided I'm gonna get into trucking. I happened to get laid off at the time. Fucking perfect opportunity. Grab up one of those government grants. We all need a little leg up every once in a while, don't we? And go off and be a fucking trucker. And look, I've had some good times out here, right? But I tell you guys what, if I could go back 10 years ago and never ever have the thought of being a trucker ever cross my mind, I would have taken that path. I would have. Now let me explain, because remember at the beginning of the video, we talked about fucking, well, just quit your job then, Josh. Well, fucking maybe sometime I will. I just haven't figured it out yet, all right? Just give me time. I don't know. Maybe I will. I'll go be a recruiter, and I'll fucking recruit for trucking companies, and I'll recruit real jackasses to get out here and really fuck up y'all's day. Don't tell me to quit my job. I will make your life miserable. I will. I'll go be a recruiter, and I will hire the worst people to get out here on the roads just to fuck with you. Don't tempt me to quit my fucking job. But look, here's the point. I am now at the age, my friends, where I get to look back on my life. Yeah, about mid-40s, mid-ish 40s, early mid-40s. I get to look back on my life now, and I get to think about this before I go to bed every night. Was it really worth it for me to spend 10 years in a truck, hardly ever going home? Well, that sounds like a stupid fucking question now, doesn't it? Because it wasn't worth it at all. It wasn't worth it even a little bit. I'm one of the fucking lucky ones. Somehow I'm still married after 10 years in a truck. Holy shit, this thing will absolutely fucking destroy any kind of relationship that you have. If you don't believe me, all right, if you're not a trucker yet, I want you to find like your local bar that's near truck parking, like within walking distance of truck parking, or like short walking distance. We don't like to walk a lot. We're really out of fucking shape here in trucking. Or it's a bar inside a truck stop. Those still exist sometimes. Go in there, one night and sit down at the bar and have yourself a drink and just strike up a conversation. Just make this shit up, but strike up a conversation about your whore ex-wife, and you will have 5 new friends within 5 fucking minutes that all have whore ex-wives. And you know what? They're never going to admit that it was the road that fucked it up. It was never their whore ex-wife to begin with. It was the road that fucked up the whole thing. They were never home. They were out there chasing that, oh, next week's gonna get better. Ah, fuck, next week week then. Maybe next week will be better. Next week will be better. And you just repeat that cycle until you're divorced and then, you know, years later found dead, pissed off in your sleeper, all alone, all by yourself. That's how trucking ends. Somebody asked me on a live stream, Josh, what's your retirement plan? I said, well, they find my dead body in the sleeper and boom, just like that, I'm retired. I can finally chill the fuck out. That will be the day I stop worrying about if the next load's gonna be a good one or not. How cool is that? Absolutely destructive to your relationships. But here's the thing I'm struggling with, my friends. Here's the thing I'm really having a hard time with, okay? I might get a little emotional here because I have to deal with the reality of the decisions 30-year-old me made that are now going to affect not only 40-year-old me, but 50-year-old me, 60-year-old me. Till the end of time, I will never, ever get the time back that I spent in this fucking truck. My youngest of my children are almost completely grown. And they still like me, they do. But we hardly ever talk. I see them when I go home. I always make sure when I am home, I make us some really good food. I'm actually a really good cook, guys, believe it or not. I know. I learned it from Dad. Dad was a really good cook too. He kind of learned as he went. And then I kind of picked up as I went along, and I'm a really good cook. So I make sure every time I go home, I go down the grocery store, I find us the finest cuts of meat, freshest vegetables, whatever it is, and I make us a whole meal every time I go home. And my kids hang out with me, and we laugh and we joke and all that stuff. But then I leave the next day and they just go on with their lives doing their own thing. And the fact of the matter is, I can tell they just really don't know what to say to me. They're like, he's here, Dad's here, and they like me. They're not afraid of me or anything, and that's really cool. But they just don't really know what to talk about, what to do, or anything. And I will never, ever in my life get any of that back. Why do I bring this up? Because I said this video ain't about me, right? But now I'm telling you all these things about me. Well, the reason I bring it up is because I could or how do I want to say that? You could very easily be me 10 years from now. And you could even be less lucky than I am. You could have destroyed every fucking relationship. Just chasing that one more week. Oh, next week's gonna get better. And it never, ever fucking gets better. It never gets better. The situation never, ever gets fixed. It's just, and that's the thing. They put us on this treadmill, right? You know, we're on this fucking treadmill of next week, we're going to get those loads and we're going to get those miles. And then you finally do. You have that huge week, right? And you've been managing your clock. You've been doing all these great things. Everything's fucking just awesome. And then, oh yeah, you got to spend the next 3 weeks just kind of getting by. You know, then that fourth week comes around again, you're gonna kill it again. Oh, now you're catching up on those bills you weren't able to pay because you had 3 shit weeks in a row. This is not about me. This is about the fucking industry, and that's what I've been trying to tell you guys forever. They don't give a fuck about you or your paycheck. How many times do I have to say it? Stop getting CDLs, or get a CDL, but stop. I'm already in it, my friends, but stop going to these fucking over-the-road trucking companies. Do not sacrifice your life to doing another load on the fucking interstate. Maybe one day I'll get my shit together too, and I'll stop doing this stupid shit. But maybe if we all know I probably won't, right? I'll still be here 10 years from now. Fuck. Oh, just saying that just fucking hit really hard. I'll still be here 10 years from now. Fuck. Every day for 10 more years. Oh, son of a bitch. I gotta figure something out. I gotta do better than this. Shit. Son of a bitch, man. Fuck, I'm sorry. I should be editing all of this out. As soon as I said that 10 more years, I'm like, oh, fuck. And you know what? At those 10 years, it's still not over. I still got a probably good 20 years in me before they yank my medical card and kick me out the fucking truck. So we're in it for the long haul, as they say. 40 fucking years of just hoping for that one more load. And it's not fucking worth it. It's not worth it in the least. Now, if there were any kind of fucking hope in this goddamn industry like there used to be, then it might be worth it, right? If there was any chance of like, I'm gonna go down to a dealership and buy my truck, you're gonna fail, most likely. Most likely you're going to fail. The fucking truck is too goddamn expensive now. I mean, truck prices are kind of coming down, but you know, if you want a truck that's going to get out on the road and fucking do some work for you, you're going to have to pay for a good truck. That's $100,000. Fuck. Now you hope that nothing breaks on the goddamn thing, because that's at least, well, not at least, I mean, you can fix a lot of shit for under 10 grand, but if you have like a pretty good break out there, you're 10 grand into it, maybe you got to get towed off the side of the road to a shop, and then they got to, I don't know, replace a fucking DPF filter. I had to do that once, and the fucking filter by itself I think was 8 grand or 12 grand or something like that. I don't remember. I didn't have to get towed off the road for that. But look, you're like 20 grand in repairs. There's no hope, is what I'm fucking trying to tell you. The market's been cornered a long time ago. The mega carriers have us exactly where they want us, and I know, I understand. I went to work for some of them, and because what else am I supposed to do? We're done. It's over. I mean, there's no hope anymore of like making it on your own. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it can't be done, but the chances are fucking slim to none that you're just going to go out and do your own thing. Look, I was an owner-operator. Back when COVID hit, fuck, we were making money, right? I saw a lot of people get to be owner-operators then. You know where almost every one of them are now? Either have completely exited the industry, or have filed bankruptcy, or are working as a company driver now. Almost no one that I know of, now there's a few exceptions, but almost no one that I know of that finally got their shot at being an owner-operator fucking survived. 2-3 years later, every one of them out on their fucking asses. and now we're completely fucked. The era of the owner-operator is fucking over. It's done, baby. There's a few stragglers left out there. After that, it's just fall in line, do what the fuck you're told, go deliver the load, stupid, and don't even think that we're gonna pay you for all the things we're going to do, you fucking idiot. And that, to me, my friends, if this was me 10 years ago, this is the video I would want to see. Sure, you might make more money than what you're doing right now. I am fucking ashamed of myself that I gave up my actual life, being there to raise my kids, being home every day for dollars, for a few fucking dollars more than what I was making. So hey, if that's your goal, I've drew up the blueprint for you, okay? And I know people are gonna twist narratives and all those things. No, I'm not going through a divorce right now, just in case somebody's acting like I am, all right? I'm just middle-aged now, and I have to live with the consequences of the decisions that I fucking made, and there's no way to undo that. So like I was saying, if this was me 10 years ago, this is the video that I would have wanted to see. You know what I saw 10 years ago? People talking about how much money they made. Every trucker out here is just rolling in money, right? That's all I saw. Look, you guys can put out whatever videos you want. It ain't up to me to fucking decide. And maybe 10 years ago when I was just looking at getting my CDL, people were making a lot of money. But I gotta be honest with you, I think a lot of when people talk about how great trucking is and all these things, I think a lot of it's coping. Because every one of us has to deal with the consequences of our decisions. And I fucked up. I did it wrong. Now I gotta live with it. Cool. Bye now.